Hey guys, nice to be here for this week's labs update. On the session side of things, we are working disappearing messages through the QA process now. So it's now into QA on all of the platforms. And we're basically just addressing some of the things that came up through QA. So Android had, I think, 5 or 6 things that came up in QA, which they're fixing up right now. And then on desktop, we had about the same 4 or 5 things that came up on desktop. And then there's just one more thing that needs to happen on iOS as well, related to how open groups work with message requests and making sure that they're deleted when someone clears their device and network. That task is part of disappearing messages. So basically, we're just wrapping up tying the loose ends up on disappearing messages now, and hopefully we will be able to put that into internal release very soon. So that's looking fantastic and making great progress. And the other good news is that chunk 1 of closed groups is into QA on all of the platforms now. So it's past code review. It hasn't been QA'd yet, but it's in the QA process now. So yeah, that's on all platforms as well, which has meant that all of the platforms have now moved on to chunk 2 of closed groups. Just for those people who don't have so much context on closed groups and the chunking process. So basically we've broken closed groups down into a number of different chunks. We need to deliver the first 3 chunks before we can do a release. So we're on to the second one now, which is about the same complexity as the first chunk that we did. And the third one is kind of simpler in complexity. So I would say we're reaching about the halfway point with closed groups, and we'll maybe accelerate a little bit now that we've finished up chunk 1. Chunk 2, it doesn't have some of the complexities that chunk 1 has in terms of integrating some of the lib session stuff into the application. So yeah, that's fantastic. On the Oxen side of things, we continue to work with our advisors to take some of the prototypes that we've built, or the prototype smart contracts that we've built, and harden those for production. So that's basically like line by line code review, going through things and making sure that we're using the contracts have the right security properties in them, and making sure that we're not doing anything silly. Because writing smart contracts, once you deploy it to the network, there's value locked in that contract, and if something goes wrong, it's hard to upgrade those contracts if there's an issue. So yeah, making sure that we get this right the first time. So we're putting a lot of effort into that right now. On the Lokinet side of things, Lokinet is compiling again, which is fantastic. During this massive refactor that we're undergoing, I think there's probably been around 60,000 lines of code that have changed. And for about a month there, we didn't have Lokinet compiling. We were just making those changes. And when you're making huge changes like this, it doesn't necessarily make sense to make everything compile. But we're at the point now where we've made kind of the bulk of the changes, and now it's time to start getting things working again and start getting builds going through. So yeah, we were able to get Lokinet to recompile. And we're also working through the final stages of the different messages that need to be refactored, and getting the network connecting to each other so we can do some internal testing. Yes, that's the major projects. There's also some side stuff, just more lib session stuff going on as we implement the new closed group system. Things come up on lib session that we need to add in, so we've been doing that. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I will chuck it over to the marketing guys to give you an update there. All right, thanks guys.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another marketing update. I'm filling in for Josh this week, but he should be back next week, no worries. So this week, one of our big focuses was actually setting up the Discord. So last week, we were really looking into researching what kind of bots and integrations and what was standard in the space, making sure that we had something that was up to date and current and engaging for the community we want to build around the session token. And then this week, I suppose, we actually started creating it. So the Discord server is currently a work in progress. We've got a few key personnel in there who are setting up all of the automations and bot integrations that we want to do, as well as writing up the rule sets and putting them into the relevant channels. That's coming along really nicely, and I think that by the time we hit next week, we'll probably be testing it internally with the wider team of around 20 or 30 people, have everyone poke around, try and break things if they can, make recommendations, and then hopefully soon after that, we'll be ready to start sharing it with the community and building that session token community on Discord. So that's really exciting. It's coming along nicely, and I'm really excited to have that community based out of Discord. It's going to open up a lot of fun and exciting possibilities. We also started a little sprint of content for the OPTF website. Things have been a little bit quiet on that front, at least on the website in the public-facing kind of realm for a little while now. So we decided that we're going to whip up some content to pop on there just to make sure that everybody knows that we're still active and working and spreading things out to the readership that we have over on the OPTF. So Wes and I have been writing up some articles. You'll see those coming out over the next week or so. We've also still been working on some of the side pages or child pages for the session token website. Once again, they're coming along quite nicely. Even just earlier today, I was working on a page about the rewards infrastructure and scheme that we're going to have for the new token. A lot of that stuff is not fully locked in yet, so it's obviously subject to change, but just breaking down how exactly we want those modules to fit on the page, what kind of copy we want, even though the numbers and stuff like that is not finalized just yet. We also have a new video which should be coming out within the next couple of days of this video coming out. That one was put together by Wes and Cam. So you'll see Cam doing another really privacy for beginners style of videos. So we've tested out a bit of this content in recent weeks and it has performed really well. So we're going to keep leaning down that road on the YouTube side of things and see if we keep getting that really positive reaction. Obviously, it's targeting a bit more of a broader audience. So it makes sense that we're seeing a little bit more of a higher viewership for those videos, but it's good to see a positive response so far. And like I said, you'll see that video coming out in the next day or two. And the last thing is Cam put together a outreach plan specifically for third-party content for Session. So you see Session comes up quite a lot already on, what are the top 10 best messaging apps and popular messaging apps and things like that. Those kinds of lists, a lot of them already feature Session, but we want to get out there and find ones that aren't featuring Session or see if we can get Session moved up on those lists or updated on those lists where possible. So Cam put together a bit of a plan there, and hopefully we should see Session appearing in some more third-party content in the coming months as a result. So that was everything from marketing this week. Like I said, hopefully Josh will be back with you next week, but it has been a pleasure and I will see you when I see you.